Are you looking to do deals and master flipping houses? Welcome to the DoDeals Show with our host, Mr. Tim Mai. As a successful investor and mentor to many real estate investors, Tim's students consistently run 6- and 7-figure investing businesses. Each week, you'll hear from top real estate investors who share the best strategies, systems, and secrets that you can use to be more successful. Tim and his guests will pull back the curtain for you to learn their exact tactics, tricks, and tools that are working best right now in today's real estate market. Now, let's welcome Mr. Tim Mai.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another awesome interview that we have today. Today I have Randall Wall from Salt Lake, Utah with us. And Randall is an amazing real estate investor. He's only been doing this since 2004, so that's only 12 years, but he's a real estate broker, has 160 agents under him. He owns a construction company. He did over $400,000 in wholesale deals last year, 2 to 3 times that much on fix and flip properties. He's the president of the one of the biggest RIA club, the Salt Lake RIA, with 500-600 members. And he also does a lot of charity work. As you can see, right, Mr. Wall here has a ton of stuff on his plate. But I mean, the way he's able to run a small team, 8 people, to be able to do all this is an amazing thing. So I'm really looking forward to this interview. Before we get started with the interview, I wanted Randall to share with you what is his one best tip for you for the new year, regarding to your business. So actually, he's going to say 2 tips. One is going to be a life-changing tip, and then the other one is how you can get deep discount on properties, and at the same time giving the sellers what they want. So, Randall, welcome to this interview, buddy.
Thanks, Tim.
Awesome. So what's the first tip you have for everyone?
So the first thing I'd say is never give up, never surrender. On my first transaction, I lost $50,000.
Oh, wow.
And it was cash money. I was working as a UPS driver hauling sheetrock in the back of my truck. And if I had stopped, it would have just been an evil anecdote. But never stop, never surrender, because I kept going forward. My next deal, I made $130,000 on.
Nice.
And so it wasn't very long after the first one. And so I've learned a lot from that is, if something bad happens, just dig in, keep working, correct course as fast as you can, and keep going. Because if you don't, it's just a bad story about how something bad happened to you. It's not a learning experience. Right. It's a learning experience if you use it.
That's great. So, Great tip. So, so don't give up. Use your failure as a learning experience, for your success. Awesome.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that tip. So share with us, how is it that you're able to get deeper discounts on properties and still give sellers what they want? That's some crazy stuff.
Okay. So, I just did one here recently. There's a lot of liens out there. There's liens, some are medical, some are contractors liens, some are bail bonds liens. I'm not sure how your state is, but there's a lot of liens out there. And so I found a house that they were looking to sell for cash. And so the first thing I did is when I go in to drive to the house, I call my team up and I say, all right, pull it up, tell me what's on it. What do they owe? What does it look like? And so this house was owned, it looked like they owed about $15,000 on the house, but it had about $60,000 in liens on it. And so I looked at it, and so what I did is I put it under contract, put a due diligence period on it, and then during that due diligence period, I went out and bought those liens for $5,000.
Wow.
And so when they closed with us, they have to satisfy those $60,000 in liens. So they don't typically know that it's me, because I'll have an attorney or somebody else go in and negotiate them for us.
Ah, okay.
But,
that's smart.
But that's a pretty good discount. If you're looking at a house, you're buying a house for $130,000, and and it's got $60,000 on liens on it, and you're able to buy those for $5,000. That $130,000 all of a sudden becomes like an $80,000 house because you're $55,000 less.
That's a phenomenal tip, and I've heard that tip before as well. But what makes it even better, what you just said, is that having a third party negotiating it for you, so nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
That's awesome. Now, do you buy these liens ahead of time, or do you pay them off and sort of buy them at the same time as you're closing?
I buy it ahead of time because otherwise, title's going to notify all the lien holders.
So this is even before the before the request for payoff happens.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's good. So I just go in and get it because they're cheap. You get them on 10 cents on the dollar.
Right.
And and we know that we're going to buy it anyway because usually when I walk through a house, I can do my due diligence in 10 minutes. But I'm going to give myself, as long as I can, 10 days or something, to go and set something up. But what's really cool is if you, like that house was a good enough deal that I could have wholesaled it as it was and made $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
But if I would have done that, I would have made $5,000 on a wholesale and $55,000.
Yeah.
By taking the notes.
Right. That's awesome. I love that.
So, and so it's a pretty cool thing. It doesn't work all the time, but it's a lot of stuff. Probably 25% of the stuff that we buy will have liens like that. And
for sure.
All those liens can be purchased.
That I love that. I'm gonna add that to my tool belt here of my investing strategy. So thank you so much, Randall. All right, Facebook Live. We're gonna continue with the rest of our interview here. Make sure you keep an eye out for when we post the full interview online for you guys to watch. Okay. So with that, happy investing. Make 2017 your best year ever with this new strategy that you just learned today. All right. See you for now, Facebook. All right. Okay, Randall. So we're going to continue with the rest of our interview now. So 2014, 12 years, not a lot of time. Share with us how you got started and how have you built such an amazing company, big company, in such a short amount of time?
So I got started back in probably the 70s and the 80s. I was a big kid, and so I worked for every contractor and a lot of guys that were doing real estate back before they really knew what flipping was, but they were flipping. And so I saw what was going on. I got some experience, and I liked what I saw. And so I was working as a contractor. I had a construction company, and we did everything from gyms, libraries, hospital additions, all the way down to bathroom remodels. I got tired of working for everybody else. And so I decided I was coming back to Utah, and I knew that I was going to make it or break it. So I had a kid that I really liked. He was like a little brother to me, and I was 42, and he was 26. And so his name was Jay, and I said, Jay, I'll give you the company for $10,000. And so I gave him the company for $10,000. I moved to Utah, moved into an extended stay for 2 years, and I just total focus, 100% focus on the business, and learning what it was that I wanted to accomplish. And so I just worked hard every day, set goals. I work with amazing people. My brother-in-law works with me, and we have a great time.
Were you married at that time?
I was.
Okay, so that's great. You have a supportive wife that didn't mind living in a extended stay?
No. It was, I don't know if I do that the same way. But.
I mean, that's some determination, right? Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's really great. So what has that journey been like? You mentioned that your first deal you lost $50,000. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Most people would have quit, right? Yeah. And so, what did you learn out of that deal? What happened? What went wrong?
So the first deal I did was, that was prior to 2004. It was actually in 1990.
Oh, okay.
Like 96, and I did everything wrong. I mean, it was. I learned more from that deal than anything else, but I spent too long remodeling it, so I learned that you got to keep your timeline short. I over-improved it, so I went into a low-class neighborhood, and I remodeled it from the sewer line to the roof.
Oh, okay.
And so, I did too much to it. It was an over-improvement for the area, and it was a learning experience, but I did it by myself. I did the work on it with an older contractor who actually taught me a lot of tips of the trade that I wouldn't have learned, if I hadn't worked with a master. And he was basically retired, but was looking for a little extra income. So he helped me. But I took what I learned off of that one and made 130 on my next one. And that's why I always tell people, if you give up, gold is frequently 15 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an actual book called 3 Feet from Gold, right? And so it speaks right into that. Great. So you were in the extended stay. What was your first, what did you decide as your first type of deal you did? Was it wholesaling, rehabbing? What was it?
It was actually rehabbing.
Okay.
And so I was there looking for a deal, and I wish, it was focused, but I was scared. And I got up because I was like, I'm just, I get up every day. I'd walk out into the stairwell. I would go, I am not afraid. I expect success today. And I say that about 15 times until I felt like it. And I charge out and look for property, and that's the hardest part. And so I had my brother-in-law was doing it, and he was having trouble, and so I helped him on his, and because I knew all the construction parts of it that he didn't have a clue on, and we just went from there, and it just was like knocking down dominoes one after another.
Wow. Okay. So what kind of marketing, or where were you finding deals back then versus where you're finding deals now?
So probably, to be honest, the multiple listing service has the biggest dollar deals. So my biggest dollar deals come off the MLS.
I see.
Networking was good back then, and it's still good now. It's consistent. That's one of the main reasons I'm still a broker. Is I've got 160 agents that I can tap, and they sell properties to me, and they buy properties from me as well. Back in those days, I wasn't doing mailers. Very, very little. Now we're doing door hangers. We do about 40,000 door hangers a month, and about probably 40 to 60,000 postcards. And so, but and then I'm trying to think, what else do? I do text messages. I'll send texts out to agents because that's an easy list to get. You can also do that with loan officers because it's surprising how much stuff comes across their desk as well. And it costs you $0.015 a text. And so it can be good. So we're doing that. Back in 2004, I was doing a lot more internet, but the pay-per-clicks got unreal. So when I started, it was like 35 cents a click. Uh-huh. It got up to like $15 because everybody jumped in.
Yeah.
And so I moved on to other stuff. But the multiple listing service surprisingly has been really, really good. People will tell me, "Oh, you can't find anything." But we still do. We're still finding deals where we'll make $100,000 on.
Right. Is it because you know where to find the deals, or is it because you've been doing this long enough that agents are bringing you those deals?
It's both. And so part of it is I'm going to go out and make offers on properties, and I know what I need to buy them at. Mm-hmm. And so we had one property. I put an offer out for like 3 months. I just would send an offer every month, and I dropped my price every month. And finally, they said yes. And because I know that area, what the values are, and so we did 4 or 5 in that area. And so that's kind of what we do. We add value a lot. We'll do additions. Anytime I can look at price per square foot over $140 a foot, then doing an addition makes sense for me because I can usually do slab on grade for about $60 a foot. And so there's a lot of homes, a lot of bungalows in good neighborhoods that maybe are $200, $250 a foot.
I see.
Have poor layouts. And so we'll add value by doing that. But it's just being a lot of places a lot of the time. There's no holy grail.
Gotcha. Wow. So if most of your deals are coming from the MLS and coming from networking, your marketing budget for your investing business is probably not much.
About $25,000 to $30,000 a month.
Yeah, so for the kind of volume that you do, that's nothing. That's really that's impressive. Okay, and so you do quite a bit of wholesaling. You also do quite a bit of fix and flip. How do you decide between the two? Like, when you do what?
So a lot of it depends on what I need. So I've got one of the things that I look at is whenever I go meet with somebody, meet with a seller, I'm looking at what I call the 5 fingers of real estate because I believe in multiple income streams. Mm-hmm. So my first finger would be, can I wholesale it because that's the easy money? Okay. Can I flip it? Can I do a seller finance on it? If that doesn't work, can I do a sandwich lease option, on it? And if none of those 4 work, then can I collect a commission? Because there's nothing wrong with, a commission on it. And so I run through that sieve and I think, okay, where's the easy money? Great. And I look at my construction team and I say, how many projects do I have going? How many can I handle? And what's the pipe look like? And so when the pipe is full, I'm dishing off everything I can as a wholesale.
I see. Okay. That's awesome. So talking about the commission part, is that how your brokerage came into play?
I guess I had an idea that I wanted to take over the real estate world. So
you are taking over the real estate world.
I wanted to. I figured I wanted to own a brokerage, a title company, and a mortgage company. And so I did own a mortgage company. We had 35 loan officers, and we sold it 2 months before the market crashed.
Nice.
And so that was really good. I decided it was more work than it was worth. I still haven't got a title company yet. But the brokerage was really good. So we started out, and a friend of mine, Brady Long, had this idea to do a different type of a brokerage. And there was only 35 agents at the time. Now we're the largest brokerage in Utah. We've got 1,600 agents.
Wow.
And so I just managed my branch, which is basically investor heavy. So I've got a lot of investors and agents that work with investors there.
That's great. So what makes this brokerage different? I used to own a RE/MAX franchise.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with that. My wife's a broker.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what makes your difference?
So we pulled a lot of RE/MAX guys over as brokers. So basically, we're full service. We do it for it's $5.59 a transaction, and it's a great company because. So, like, I've got friends at RE/MAX, Caldwell, Keller. They're making $70,000 a year. If one of them might be making $100,000, but typically that's not the case. Our top broker makes $400,000 a year.
Nice.
We make a lot more money than those brokerages do, and it's people look at me and go, "Oh, $5.59. You can't be making any money."
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm thinking it's well into the 6 figures, baby, and it's a good thing.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I definitely would love, love to learn more about that. So you also run the REIA group. How has that been beneficial for you in your business?
So it's been really good, just because the networking capacities are huge. So we've got 500 or 600 dues-paying members. If we look at the people that hit our website and sign up, I think we're probably 1,000, 1,500.
I see.
But those that are paying, the $100 a pop, that's a lower number. But it's a great place to learn. It's a great place to network. It's a great place to buy and sell property. And we make deals there, throughout the year. In fact, you get to the point where most of what you're doing is going to people in the same circles, and that's our main circle.
Okay, that's great. Okay, and then the construction business, like, how does that play a role in this whole thing?
Well, we don't typically do much work for anybody else.
Oh, okay.
So, it's what's good is that we take care of our people. We treat them like family, and so they've not been laid off in 10 years, even during the downturn in the market. They've been solid. It means that I get better prices than most people. I don't have the turnover to deal with, etc. And so, and my guys know exactly what I want. And so even when we're using subs, my guys are riding the subs because we can do everything: electrical, plumbing, finished carpentry, etc. But the biggest problem is if you don't have a core group, it's hard to keep the quality. The quality goes up and down with, contractors. I found before that I was looking at a 6-month shelf life of subs that I'd hired before. Something had happened, they start tweaking or drinking or something happens in their life.
Right. Okay, that sounds good. And so, so give us some, like you said earlier, a lot of people don't think that there's deals on the MLS. Give us some tips around, how can we find good deals on the MLS?
The first thing is you want to have top of mind awareness. And
say that again. You were breaking up.
Sorry, you want to have top of mind awareness. So when people are thinking real estate, they're thinking Tim. You're the go-to guy. And so the only way to do that is you got to constantly be in contact with those agents. And so I personally like texts, or there's something called slide broadcast. And so basically you leave I don't know if you're familiar with it, but you record a message on your cell phone and it calls without ever ringing your phone. It leaves a voice message on your phone and says, hey, this is Randall. I'm looking for a property. Do you have anything? If it's ugly, great. Just a short one, give me a call. And so when you're doing that, you're keeping yourself top of mind. And every time I send out a text, we get more business. And so agents will call you because otherwise, they forget about you. They've got short memories.
Right. That is super good. Amazing tip. Great tip. So top of mind, always be on the top of their mind using text, using slide broadcast. So you're leaving them a voice message. And then you mentioned earlier you're out there making offers, so you're really on top of their mind, right? So okay. Anything else?
I think probably just pop by and nothing takes the place of pressing the flush. So Josh, I work with Josh, my brother-in-law, and he's really good at networking. One of the best networking guys that I know. But if you do a face-to-face with some of the guys that actually send you property, send you deals, that helps cement it. And you can take them out for hot chocolate in the winter or lunch or whatever it is, but just do something to pop by and make it a more personal relationship instead of just sending them a text message. So for example, we did that with one agent, and he says, hey, I'm working on a short sale in Park City, which is half an hour from here. Are you interested in it? So we went in, we bought that short sale for $721,000, and it was a family full of smokers. And it stunk. I thought, we're going to have to paint everything, get rid of the carpets, etc. But I took some ozone machines. We found that these Max Blaster ozone machines will get rid of the cigarette smoke. So a 5,000 square foot house, I ran 5 of those machines in there for 4 days, cycling them on and off every 2 hours. And I came back with a realtor after 4 days, and she couldn't smell the cigarette smoke. So she came with a friend, and we thought we were going to have to remodel it. And the friend said, I've got a buyer at $964. And so we bought it for $721. We're into it less than $1,000. And so we just wholesale. We just did it's like a hotel,
right?
Wholesale that one off. But it's a great business, and that's what you want. You want those people bringing those deals to you.
Right. That's really great. Okay. So you really mastered doing this top of mind strategy, right? So yeah. So I mean, your growth has been phenomenal. Share with us some of insights into that, like. If someone's starting their business this year, or maybe they're doing, a few deals a year now, and they want to 10 times that, right? Maybe they're doing like 3 deals a year. Now they want to do 30 deals a year. Give us some insights into how to best, expand and grow at that. Yeah, to that.
So one thing I'd say, as far as expanding and growing, make sure you own some rental property, because the only rich people I know own rental property. Otherwise, it's funny money. Comes in and goes out. But,
you're so right. I mean, I'm laughing because it's funny, but it's so true.
It's true. It's just like they're here today, gone tomorrow. So if you've got that base of passive income, then you can spend more time marketing. If you don't have a big budget and you want to find deals, go out and knock some doors. If you have, if you can remember the 5 fingers of real estate that I talked about, you'll find deals. I've never gone more than 3 hours without finding a deal knocking doors. And
oh wow, okay.
And less than 3% of people will knock doors. And it's
who are you knocking on?
I just hit them at random.
What?
I'll just go into a neighborhood and start going down the street. And so, I mean, you could do drive for dollars, and get those lists of rundown properties, which is good. It is great. But if you have the time, and you don't have a lot of resources, go knock the doors. I had an investor from our club who lives in Tremont. It's an hour away. It's a small town, maybe 25,000 people. He said, Randall, come show me how to knock doors. And he's been a friend, so I said, all right, I'll do it. I drove up, picked him up. I said, all right, where are we going to go? We're driving. He says, how about this neighborhood? We knocked doors for 90 minutes. I found one listing. I found a guy who had a property he wanted to sell for cash, that he'd been renting out. And then he had another property that he was going to sell in like 3 months. And so in 90 minutes, we had 3 deals come in. And
wow.
It doesn't always work like that, but usually I don't know too many guys that will get out there and knock doors and won't turn something. It's just we don't like it. I don't like it either, but it works, and
wow. No, I mean, I've heard of door knocking. When I first started out the business, I used to go door knocking on pre-foreclosures, but I've never heard of like just random door knocking. That's an amazing.
It works. Well, so for example, a lot of guys are using targeted lists, but the targeted lists, everybody's hitting those lists, so they're not quite so targeted anymore because everybody's hitting them. So we have one of our best sources is actually door hangers, and we're just every door in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it works, and it's kind of on the same principle because you'll knock a door and you'll say, hey, I'm Randall. I want to buy a house on your street. Have you thought about selling your house? And if the answer is yes, then that's an easy one. We go from there. If the answer is no, I just say, hey, have you lived here for a while? Usually it's yeah. I'll say, great. Which one of your neighbors, up or down the street, have you heard talk about wanting to buy or sell a house? Or maybe they've got too few bedrooms for too many kids, and might need a new place. And that's it. So in that 90 minutes that I was telling about, that's how we got most of those, was somebody pointed us to another neighbor.
Right. I love that. Okay, yeah, I do. I don't do door knocking like that, but I do some flyers instead of door hangers. I make these I make them look like from the small notebook paper. Right. So it's like the yellow notebook with the handwriting fonts and everything.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what I do in my farm area because, in my farm area, we do kind of very similar to you, where if we can't buy, if we can't wholesale them or flip them or keep them as rentals or, my wife's an agent or list them. So, we flood the whole area with our flyers.
Right.
So that's great. I love that. Gosh, I mean, we're running out of time and there's still so much more. I'd love to learn more from you. I'm sure that the audience listening by now probably would love to get in touch with you somehow, whether they want to do some deals with you or do some kind of business with you. Where would you like to send them?
Facebook is really pretty good actually. Randall Craig Wall, and it's my personal page, and I get like 200 emails a day, and so I'm really bad about checking them. And so I that's probably the quickest way to do it, I'd say. You can send them to investorrandall@gmail.
Okay. All right. So let me repeat this because your audio is kind of breaking up a little bit. So Facebook, Randall Craig Wall, and then you said what was the Gmail again?
InvestorRandall.
InvestorRandall@gmail. Okay, great. So there you have it, folks. And of course, he's the president of the Salt Lake RIA Club as well. So if you're in the Salt Lake area or you want to fly out there, visit Randall, certainly, right? Yeah. So So Randall, I have a question for you. So actually, before I go to the question, is there any resources that you use in your business that been very helpful for you?
Making a list is really good. Just a simple list, because a list brings order out of chaos faster than anything else. And if you put a list of the things that you need to do each day, and you start working from the top down, you get more done. And I'm not perfect at it, but I'm still working at it after 12 years or whatnot. But
right.
I say that one's really good. I like Slide Broadcast a lot, just because it's great for leaving those messages. I mean, you can leave 1,000 messages that seems like it's a personal message, and so you can go through your whole database. This is Randall, just touches bases with you. I'm thinking about you. I'm still looking for property. Hope everything's good, and Merry Christmas or whatever.
That's good. I love that. Okay, so make a list. So simple stuff anybody can do. Don't need technology for that, right? And then Slide Broadcast, slybroadcast.com.
That's right.
Okay.
Got it.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Randall. So here's my question for you. So to me, all entrepreneurs, real estate investors are all heroes to me. Do you see yourself as a hero?
No, I see myself as my wife thinks I am. So
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I figure I'm a regular guy, and I want to make the world a better place.
I love that. And you definitely are. I mean, look how many lives you impact every single day throughout in doing your business. You have the agents that you're impacting, and all the sellers and the buyers that they service, and then your construction company, and all the sellers that you buy from, and the charitable work that you and your wife do. I mean, and all the investors that you service at the RIA too. It's amazing. You are definitely a hero in my eyes. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for this interview, and thank you for the difference that you make out there in the world, and thank you for making the world a better place.
Thanks, Tim.
Awesome. All right, Randall. So with that, everyone, we're going to end this interview. Make sure you leave comments, rate this interview, give us a review. And with that, we'll see you on the next interview. All right, everybody. See you for now.
And that's our show for today. If you have any questions or would like to get further training from Tim Mai, please visit our website at www.dodeals.com/Tim.